This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel, who specialize in cruises and vacation packages to Disney and other destinations around the world. MEI and MouseFan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner. They provide their signature services with no additional agency fees. To get your free no-obligation quote, visit www.mousefantravel.com.
Well, welcome everyone to the American Adventure podcast event. Yay. That's right, a little enthusiasm. I'm Matt Hochberg with StudioCentral.com, and joining us on today's show is the man with no mic, Mike Newell. Welcome to the show, Mike.
I have my own mic.
He is his own mic.
He'll edit something funny in later. Yeah. Also joining us is Len Testek, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, would you agree with me that no trip to Walt Disney World is complete without sleeping on the ground at 2 a.m. in the morning?
You know, so this is interesting. This is what I learned today, is that when the first thing you do in the morning involves getting naked in front of strangers and taking a shower, the rest of the day is an adventure.
Dude, you just stole my intro for Annette.
Yes,
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Right. Show of hands if you know what this is, where this comes from. I had two pals. One of them was Grandpa Taylor, who was a Civil War veteran, and another one was a retired doctor by the name Doc Sherwood. And Doc had this beautiful stallion, Rupert. Actually, it could be from one of two attractions. Oh, come on. The Walt Disney Story that used to be in the Magic Kingdom a long time ago. That's Walt reminiscing. Gotcha.
And? You said
been saving that.
One Man's Dream.
Ooh. Wow.
Sounds like the aliens from Toy Story. The claw is
The
not...
claw. Did we all do it all at once? Everyone?
All right, Annette. We need to share. We need to
Breathe,
share.
breathe, honey,
Okay.
breathe.
The ooh. Has anybody seen the Scrub and Bubble commercial with the ooh? Same noise.
No.
I know.
No.
Ordinarily, there'd be
Whatever you
dead
say.
silence when she said that.
No.
Becky got it. Becky and I.
Becky got it.
Oh. Also joining us today is Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations
Fabulous
and group
Annette
services
Owens.
for MEI and MouseFan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, did y'all like the snacks today? Did I cook well today?
Yay.
Sorry, we're broadcasting live. Well, it was live when we recorded it, but recorded live. The show was recorded before it was live studio audience. Cheers is recorded in front of This is recorded.
I shouldn't be sitting in front of this glass.
No,
I'm going to move
over.
I'm gonna move that one. Thanks. Oh, what the heck.
The show was recorded at the American Adventure during Reunion 2009, and we're going to be talking about some of the observations we've made on our trip to Walt Disney World. You know, it's pretty commonplace whenever any of us go, and I think everyone in the audience would agree, when you go to Walt Disney World, you try some new things, you discover some new things, for the better or worse, and we thought we would share some of our observations, and we're also going to take some input from the audience as to what they've noticed on their trip as well. And to start things off, I think I know that all of us but Len were at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party last night, and we've all been there before. But obviously, you know, it's a little different this year. They made some changes in the show and everything. Scopo, what was something that stood out to you as a change this year?
We used to call the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, we used to call it the $50 cookie. I think we used that. I like to call it the $60 chocolate chip, because I think that a blog I wrote about a week ago mentioned how we need to do workarounds now to deal with the cost of a vacation and what we need to do to get that dollar stretched. Well, at the party last night, I knew that there was a replacement for 'Twas the Night Before Christmas that used to be at the Tomorrowland Galaxy Theater, and usually when I do the party, that's the first thing that I go to, because in the past 3, 4, 5 years, standing room only. They do 3 or 4 performances, and it's always standing room only. So this year it was replaced by some Stitch starring attraction. I forget what it was called. Yeah, he was 0 for 2 going into last night. So we watched that, and it was a very interesting. It was far different from the previous years in that you did not have the Fab Five. You had Mike Wazlewski, whatever his name is.
Wazlewski, is that his name?
Whatever the heck his name
Third
is.
baseman for
movie
the
was
Pirates.
that?
You had you had Buzz Lightyear, and you had Experiment 626. Is that who it is?
Stitch?
Yeah. So it was very disappointing because the songs were very disappointing. The choreography was very disappointing, and the show that I happened to watch had a technical glitch at the end. There was
really?
one cast member who was singing, and at the end she's ready to bring it home, and she's saying, "Okay, let's bring this home, and we're going to do this finale," and she's ready to sing, and she went like this, and it was silence. So she looked up at the control booth with a funny look, and then she looked at everybody, and she said, "You guys really want to hear a finale song, don't you?" And she continued to do it.
Good.
But one of the things I thought that maybe I'm just too critical, but the audience was very, very withdrawn. I don't know what kind, subdued,
They weren't
withdrawn.
into it.
It was like very quiet. There was no like standing ovation or whatever, and I felt bad for the performers, but. That was something that I had a problem with last night. I thought the parade was exceptional, though. I really enjoyed the parade.
Really?
I always enjoy it every year, but this year I really enjoyed it. Maybe it was because I was disappointed in the other thing. I like that.
comparison, it's
Fireworks
fabulous.
are always good.
Right.
I really needed and enjoyed Celebrate the Season in front of the castle. That was very good.
Yeah. Yeah. The fireworks were something that I thought the problem with the fireworks, I thought, is there's so much good Christmas music out there. Shouldn't they have like some? There's plenty of good songs, and they come up with other songs. I would have liked to have seen better ones, but I did think that the fireworks were better this year. The finale is great. I thought the finale was very good in terms of how it really builds up, and the last hurrah of it is really well done. And it seems like the parade was very popular as usual, and I know that many people enjoy that aspect more so. I mean, I think for for Not So Scary, I think we all agree that it's worth the money. I mean, the
Yes.
parade I think is worth the money in itself. But the party, I seen it for Very Merry, and it's I still, it's worth seeing once, but I'm not sure it's something that I would say people you should see it every year. It's worth seeing all the time. It's definitely not as good in my opinion as Not So Scary.
Well, what you have to think about is what's the extra entertainment you're receiving
That's
for
right.
the money.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to keep in mind on the flip side was that the attractions were dead. I mean, we walked on the Tomorrowland Speedway, which on the Halloween party doesn't even happen, and that was like, so it's like on the one hand you're paying for, the party, but on the other hand you are getting pretty good access to the attractions. So it's kind of even that's not what you paid for. So. Mike, do you want to comment on something that you... No. Okay.
No.
Wow. I just want to add the one thing I thought that was very different from being there for many, many years. There were so many ropes and so many checks for the bands. It was
Yes.
incredible. I can't imagine. I was trying to lead a group of us across, and I kept running into ropes and having to go around. So I'm glad they're checking.
Right.
But it was incredible to go into a rope that cut the whole road off, and you had to go around the rope, and it was kind of messy there in the middle, in the hub.
Now, Len, you had an interesting experience last night.
Not at the party.
That's right.
I wish I was at the party.
I would have paid to see his experience.
I would have loved to have.
Yeah, and you flew in, landed what time, Len?
So I was supposed to land at 11:45 p.m. Supposed to be in the operative word there. So when we finally landed at 12:30. So I actually thought, so when I was planning this, I'm like, okay, so we'll land at 11:45. I'll be at 1 o'clock. I'll be in the tent 1 a.m. I'll get up at 7. Everything will be cool.
Right. The idea was that you were going to sleep at Fort Wilderness.
Sleep at Fort Wilderness because I've stayed at every hotel in Walt Disney World multiple times, but I've never actually camped in Fort Wilderness. I've stayed at the cabins, many times, but
When we were there, so we could all witness, right? Like when we went last year for the tent event.
YouTube is waiting.
No,
as far
I
as
know.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up getting into Orlando like at 12:15, 12:30. Get the rental car. By the time I so I drive to Fort Wilderness. This is the interesting part. So there's Orlando police blocking the entrance to Fort Wilderness.
I saw that when we were coming out of the party. Didn't we see that? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there wasn't just
I was
like
like, oh,
two
cool.
cops. There were like a couple
was
cops.
Len.
How did they really they know, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway. No, I can go. It's cool.
It's been a few hours.
So yeah, exactly. So close enough. So so they said, go down to the second entrance, which is Pioneer Hall,
Right.
and park. And then I saw that, so I did. So I had to walk all the way back to get checked in. And so I walk in, and Steve's there to check me in, and there's no one else in the lobby, right? And so we get checked in, and I asked Steve, I was like, what's the deal with the cops? And he's like, what do you mean what cops? the cops with the flashing lights that you can see through the window. He's like, oh yeah, it has been kind of quiet in here, hasn't it? Like, you think? So he's like, well, so he's like, well, drive around. I'm like, well, I can't drive around because I'm on the opposite side of the parking lot, and there's this ditch, and there's this gate, and I can't do it. He's like, well, yeah, it's a rental. They're designed to do that. So he's like, so Steve is like, well, you should have to tell the police you're coming through. Well, yeah. Yes. This is the most brilliant decision I've heard all night. I'm going to go, because it's like 1:30 now. I'm going to go tell the police at 1:30 in the morning that you have to let me through.
Or else.
Or what? Yeah, or what, Steve? But anyway, we're like, okay. I'm like, so when someone says something like that, usually I give them like the long enough pause to think, okay, your idea could work. We're not going to talk about it. Your idea could work. So I walk out, and by that time the police had gone. So I actually got to go through and find it. So I get set up at the campsite, and in between these humongous RVs, right? And I'd actually practiced the night before I left. I'd gone into my office, and it's a small tent. It's like 5 feet by 6 feet. I'd practiced with the lights off, assembling the tent in the dark.
That takes
it
discipline.
went well, actually. So I broke nothing of myself or on myself or the tent, which was good. So it worked out well. So although my daughter thought I was a little weird, but whatever. She's gonna think that. So I was actually able to assemble it. But here's what I was doing. I was trying to do a Twitter feed. So I was trying to do pictures of it as I was going along. So
In the dark.
In the dark. And I have
How'd
my
those photos
iPhone.
come out?
So it's a long sort of stick tube thing, right, that you have to assemble to get. It's a dome tent. So these long sticks bend to make a dome, right?
Right.
So I'm assembling the sticks together, and I'm flashing the alarm light from the car because I didn't want to turn the car lights on. And
What time was it?
2 o'clock in the morning. By this time, but I found
the
out
lights were off?
if you click the button only once, the alarm doesn't go off, but the lights flash.
Isn't it funny? At home, the lights were off.
The lights
but he
were
had
off,
to have
so-
the lights on when he got to
Well,
the campground.
I was trying to do photos of it at the same time.
And you were doing photos, so someone should have been wishing you good lucks.
Yeah, right.
Get it?
Oh, boo.
Jesus. Wow. So seriously, why are you even trying? So I'm like, okay, hit the alarm, assemble the thing. Hit the alarm, assemble the thing a little bit more. Hit this alarm. So I finally got it done at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then because I have a couple rules in my life, right? One,
Meats don't touch.
wet and dry
Yeah,
food.
we did
Wet and
food.
dry food cannot touch. Okay. So like stew for me is just like all kind of problematic, right? And casseroles, forget it. Casseroles, I can't.
Pancakes and syrup
Yeah, no, syrup on the side.
are in a bottle.
Or in a bottle. Okay. So one of the other things that I have is I feel like
right.
I'm really sharing a whole lot.
This is deep, man.
This is like what it's like being on Oprah apparently. Without the guy. So I'm trying to figure out. So I don't want to get dirt in the tent because I'm going to be sleeping in the tent, right? So I'm trying to figure out. You guys can already see how this is going to end. I'm trying to figure out how to gracefully back into the tent so that my shoes are the only thing on the outside of the tent, and then I can take them off, leave them outside. Okay, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and by this time I need to sleep. So I end up falling backwards into the tent with my legs up in the air. I'm like, close enough. Zip the tent up, go to
Why
bed.
didn't we go and watch
It
it?
was hysterical. But I said the other thing I learned in the tent. So this is the thing I've learned. I learned when the buses start running at Fort Wilderness because I was
Yes.
sleeping outside. 6 a.m. And then I know when they start doing the Liberty Bell riverboat at the Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
They start firing that up to run. That's also 6 a.m.
How'd you like the comfort stations? That was one thing when we did the tent event we
remarkably
liked.
clean.
Yeah.
And populated with some strange
Yeah, I mean,
things.
I know that.
Okay, I understand you're camping and everyone's roughing it. What possesses people to hang their underwear out to dry?
Is that frowned upon? Well, I mean, I know that.
Am I
They're
supposed
just
to
very
borrow
sharing.
it and give it
Yeah.
back when I'm done?
Right.
No.
Well, you know,
Fucking and going. It's an interesting kind of decor they have here. Do I add?
oh, underwear.
delete?
Comment. You sure?
Plaid underwear. Plaid underwear.
Is it yours?
Plaid underwear. one black sock. That's a wardrobe, exactly. I'm like, did somebody say formal wear? So that's what I've learned thus far in my 13 hours of it. Oh, and I ate lunch at Coral Reef first time.
How was that?
It was good, but it was an hour and 45 minutes for lunch. Apparently, they had trouble catching the fish. I asked for something fast. Apparently, should have gone with a slow thing.
Right.
Whatever, but it was good.
Yeah. No. The interesting thing about the comfort stations is before we went into it, I think we all had visions of like.
You've camped?
Yeah, we did a tent event.
We didn't invite you.
March.
Yeah, you didn't come.
Oh, I wasn't invited. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please continue with your story.
It's not like a wedding, you know. Where, not. Not that we're bitter.
Oh yeah. Not that I'm bitter or anything.
Anyway.
Love the Drake.
Yeah, I think we all had visions of when comfort stations of like summer camp when you were a kid and like this like shanty shack with that little moon on the front door and huge, who knows what's inside when you open the door, but it was really nice. Yeah, I mean wonderfully clean. Modern. Yeah, that's right. I mean it was really really nice. I was really impressed by that.
It's really not bad.
Yeah.
The heat was the best
Oh yeah,
part
that's
of it.
Yeah, it was cold last night too. For any of you who slept that side with me, it was cold. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So I'm getting a twat.
Wow. Take your
I'm sorry.
time.
Is this not a good time for you, Mike?
You busy?
Yeah, it's okay. Please keep going.
Well, look.
So here's the
we got
thing.
him
I thought
over here
if it
to
gets
the
really
thing.
cold, could you actually sleep in the comfort station?
I don't know if the cast member goes. They are closed during certain hours to key card entry.
Key card entrance. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Her comment was so good that it couldn't wait.
Well, what was it?
Awesome.
What was it?
So anyway, if any of you have any thoughts that any things that you've learned on this trip, just raise your hand, and Mike has the wireless mic, so he'll come over and.
Couldn't we just call him Wireless Mike? And
Wireless mic. Ba-doom.
Ta-da!
Just say your
Hi,
name.
welcome to the show.
I'm Lori, and
Hi, Lori.
I just wanted to say that the online check-in has been a godsend because
Really?
I was treated like gold checking in yesterday at the Beach Club Villas. Cool. Not only did they have a cast member stationed outside before you even get into the lobby, she escorted me in personally. And then, went up to the front desk area. There was no cast member in the online check-in area. She went behind the booth and checked me in herself.
Wow. Cool.
I mean, it was like, that scene in Pretty Woman where they were, all kissing up to Julia Roberts. I felt like they
We
were
need
going to
more
do that to
sucking
me.
up here. You're a handsome and powerful man. Not me, her.
Seriously, this is the first time I've ever had that personalized. I mean, she literally walked me into the check-in process, gave me my keys, and I went straight to my room. So I don't know if you've done online check-in before, but I don't know if it's this time, but it was pretty cool.
That's the Beach Club, you get Bob Century, they just, here you go. Throw the keys at you as you keep moving.
You're in the 80s. Good luck.
We have a young lady here with a question.
Oh. I'm not sure I'm familiar with you. Name?
My name is Deb.
Deb.
I'm from Maryland.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
From Maryland.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, everybody. Well, I got to go to the Kakagori meet that Mike Scopa and Masayo hosted a little while ago. And for those of us who are here, it's very cool outside and very gray. And next time you have a Kakagori meet in this weather, please provide hand warmers.
Something you've learned.
Masayo, did you take note of that? Yes.
Hand warmers. Costco, $50.
Any other?
Anyone else?
So I'm David from Florida. And
Hi, David.
Hi, everybody. And first I have a comment. I did want to add that I went to a Christmas party on Sunday, and it was crowded, so it's not always a good time to ride rides. So
yeah, we should mention that it was raining pretty well beforehand, so that may have scared off the people who thought, oh, this would be good to go to the party.
Yeah, so that helps a lot, but your mileage may vary there, and that's true of the Halloween parties too. But one neat thing that I learned, and Mr. Scopa may appreciate this, I'm sure he witnessed it, is that pineapple Dole Whip can be green.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They've been doing that for a couple they had food coloring too. They've been doing that. They did that for Halloween also. They made it purple or something like that.
David, that was the default color. I wanted it in red, but they were out of red, so I had to have green. You made a comment about
it just doesn't
the rain.
seem right.
I'm wondering how many people who would pay X number of dollars for a ticket to the party would say, "Oh, it's going to rain. I'm going to stay home." I'm thinking that most people would go.
No, I'm saying like day of sales. I'm sure they make a lot
Oh,
of
you
day
mean,
of sales.
walk-ups?
Yeah, like people are thinking, oh, it's a great day in the Magic Kingdom. Oh, they're having a party tonight. Oh, let's go. And no one did that. Everyone said,
rain.
Let's go to Fort Wilderness.
I didn't think it was crowded last night.
It was very empty.
Yeah, we have one more over here.
This is like my half marathon training. Huh?
Hi, Michael Blasco from Houston, Texas, a.k.a. Mouse Cadude.
Hi, Michael.
Question for Lynn. You know who I am, don't you? Question for Lynn. Did you happen to find my other black sock?
Well, that's it for us today.
I've got one for you.
For the record, those were not my plaid shorts.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Apparently, it's worse in the women's bathroom. I was talking to somebody afterwards. They're like, you could apparently all sorts of Anyway.
You could go shopping in the women's comfort station.
Yeah. Anyone else notice anything else on their trips over there?
But I like it. I mean, it's still fun.
Young man over here.
Hi there. I'm Fred.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
I'm from New Jersey, and I learned that. Anybody else from New Jersey? Please. Okay, good.
You don't count, Skip.
They don't really want to come out and say it.
Yeah. Anybody here from New Jersey not in the witness protection program? Oh, sorry.
I learned that having a shot of sake before the show really helps make things clear.
Have I not been saying this for like 500 episodes? It works for us.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Speaking of which,
yeah. The one interesting thing, we're staying at I'm staying at Port Orleans Riverside, and I don't know if it's all moderate resorts, but are they all difficult to navigate in terms of finding your room, like in the actual building?
Yeah.
Like you go down there and you see the arrow, and it's like, oh, okay, and this is the way I'm going, and then all of a sudden it's not your area anymore, and you obviously missed the turn.
Matt, we have a question. French Quarter. We have another question.
Hello, this is Mary from New York.
Hi, Mary.
And I learned that when you ride the ride in Mexico, you need to carefully trim the boat.
Oh.
What?
Or it tends to tip over and take on quite a bit of water.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that
What
wasn't.
happened?
Oh, Mike.
Wait a minute, we need
Here,
a
Mike.
story because not everybody here was there.
No, Becky tells
Wait.
Okay, last time we rode it, we got stuck. What happened this time?
Yeah, well, Becky.
Oh no! Oh God! Do I really have to? All right, you guys might notice that I had to change pants.
We all noticed.
Thank you. Careful.
Shop at Fort Wilderness.
Okay, so impromptu meet, right? At the Grand Fiesta.
Before coming here, we stopped the Grand Fiesta tour.
First, I want to know, when did they change that to a water ride that required a poncho? Because we all get in. There's, 24 of us? 24 of us or so?
In
we
one
get
boat?
No. Hello.
I see what happened right now.
It's a really close family for the reunion, can you tell?
Tight.
So we're in
12 to
two
12.
different boats, right? So a bunch of us are in the second boat. And for some reason, we all sit down, and I don't know why, but most people wanted to go to the left. So everybody's going to the left, and everyone sits down, and the back end of the boat dips into the water. And a big wave comes into the boat. And about 3 of us in the back were just drenched from here
And you
to
haven't
here.
even pulled out yet? You're just there?
I know, but see, I have to tell, and I will warn everybody right now, what really happens is something strange happens anytime you ride that ride with Newell.
It's the ghost of the phone.
There
That's
were
what it is.
several incidences. Several incidents.
I was with Fred last year. We got stuck, actually. We bottomed out. We bottomed out, yeah.
It wasn't because of me.
But I lost my cell phone in there, in the water. I mean, it was just not good.
Lesson
Not
here,
good.
don't ride with Newell.
Yeah. I shouldn't ride with myself.
I think next time you're all going to need a bigger boat.
A boo.
Hi, this is Jeff from Indiana.
Hi, Jeff.
So I have learned that Mike Newell is very competitive when it comes to racing.
Yes,
7-year-olds.
I forgot the story. Oh, Len, this is classic. This is classic.
What were they racing?
No. We're on the Tomorrowland Speedway. We're all
On the Speedway.
On the Speedway. I mentioned before. We all went to go ride it, and we went. You can only go like 8 at a time or so, and so we're all riding it, and Mike, was riding in his car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we wanted, he got out to what would you say, about halfway?
Yeah, it was about 3/4 of the way.
3/4 of the way? Yeah, and he gets out to about 3/4 of the way of the track, and he stops because he wants to wait for other people to catch up.
I was told to take a picture of Becky and Annette in the car behind me, so they were a little
They had
slow
to wait
getting.
They wouldn't let us go.
Right, I know. I said you were slow leaving the
But you were
starting line.
She was right behind you.
Yeah. All right. So
at first I thought she was, so I slowed down.
Well, it's not like somebody else can jump in
to take this picture.
In between.
As I'm waiting for them to catch up to me, this little 7-year-old kid pulls up next to me.
Wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah, he had a Santa hat. You know, so he's sitting there and he goes like this. He goes. So I look at him. I go, "Bring it." He was saying, "Good luck, bro." And the two of us are nose to nose the rest of the track.
That's awesome.
With me, 40-something years old, and this little 7-year-old.
Oh, forget it. You can't get called out like that and not do something.
He totally called me out.
But who won?
I won.
Yeah, you did.
Darn right. Darn right.
We got an in-your-face kid. But he took it good.
It's very mature of you.
Yeah, very mature.
We have a rematch tomorrow night.
We had a lot of fun last night. There was a group of us, about 20, 25 of us, that rode around and we went in Fantasyland and we all became kids. We started in Dumbo and went to Peter Pan. And
Carousel.
Carousel.
Yeah. I'll tell that story, Annette.
Actually, I learned something about Annette.
Yeah, I learned a few things about Annette.
While she was
that's appropriate for the show. Yeah. No, I will say that Annette.
And that's like, what did you learn?
Yeah. Annette, I know this is a visual bit for an audio-only show, but can you please show the audience your shoes?
These are the same shoes I've had every year in December.
She wears heels to the parks all the time. I don't know how you... Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly. How can you be fabulous without heels?
Oh, well, I think, that's a good point. Can't argue with that.
You didn't learn that. You've known that one.
All right, well, we got one last learning lesson.
Hey, this is Ray from Vegas.
Hey, hi, Ray.
We're going to visit Ray.
Just kind of for your information.
Ooh.
I wanted to stay at Scopa Towers when I got here. Unfortunately, Scopa Towers was busy on Wednesday, so they wouldn't allow me to go in and check in. I had to stay at All-Star. Never again.
Which one? Which one?
Sports. Which
Does
I
it
really?
matter during Pop Warner?
Yeah, there's a Pop Warner thing going on.
Exactly. Pop Warner. There were 5,750,000 kids. And probably were the one that said, "Bring it." That's right.
I was walking by Ray going, "Can you believe I lost to that guy?"
But the
No,
kid
man, I
got
can't
out of
believe
the car
you lost that
faster.
guy either. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Ouch.
So in addition to having all the kids around, the day I arrived was the day they were having their special party at Hollywood Studios. And along with these 7,000 children, there were 5,000 buses all lining up in the parking lot where you couldn't park anywhere to go where you wanted to go. Wow. So All-Stars is not a good time to go during Pop Warner if you want to be alone.
Yeah, Pop Warner, it's interesting because there are a lot of kids, obviously, as just mentioned. Most of them, though, you don't see them in the parks that often. The cheerleaders more so, but the football players are they're either playing, and once they get eliminated, they get kicked out, so they leave. And so it's not like but you still have the cheerleading aspect, and they have more downtime, it seems, than the football players, so they roam around the parks more. But generally, I think their effect, if you will, is more. You feel it more in the resort than you do in the parks.
Definitely,
as opposed to like Brazilian tour groups or any other kind of the big trends that you see.
But they're definitely not just at All-Star because they're definitely
they're at Port
everywhere.
Orleans.
People, yeah.
We have them too at Riverside. So
okay. Well, that's it for us today. I want to mention who sponsored this lovely show. Of course, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're looking to, that's right. If you're looking to plan your next trip to Walt Disney World, maybe it's during Reunion, maybe it's during Tent Fest, right, coming up in March. Hint, hint.
Because everybody should sleep on the ground.
That's right. That's right. You too can be like
so
Len.
much about yourself.
That's right.
And others.
And others.
Check out MEI and Mousefan Travel for all your travel needs. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to follow our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show. Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio. This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, who specialize in cruises and vacation packages to Disney and other destinations around the world. MEI and Mousefan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner. They provide their signature services with no additional agency fees. To get your free no-obligation quote, visit www.mousefantravel.com.